Hello everybody, this is Hopkins with Baltimore Heritage, and we're back with another of our 5-Minute Histories videos. And just like when you go to a Hunan restaurant and get triple delight, I have got 3 reasons to be excited this morning. One is I'm here in Union Square in West Baltimore to celebrate the H.L. Mencken House and its great history in restoration. 2 is that this is the first of a video series that we're launching over the next couple months where we're going to highlight Baltimore Heritage's 2020 Historic Preservation Award winners. And 3rd is that I'm here with my board chair, Krista Green, and I am thrilled that Krista is able to join me out here this morning. I'm going to turn it over to Krista to say a few words about our awards, and then I'm going to come back and talk about the H.L. Mencken House, its history, and the work that the folks did to earn it a well-deserved award. Krista, here you go.
Thanks, Johns. I'm board president of Baltimore Heritage. Baltimore Heritage was founded in 1960 by a group of Baltimoreans who wanted to help preserve historic places and revitalize historic neighborhoods. And that's still our mission today, whether we're working with the Coppin Heights Community Development Corporation on the restoration of the Hebrew Orphans Asylum, or with the Arabers Preservation Society on the restoration of their stable building. As for our annual preservation awards, we started giving those out almost our first year in operation. I'm pleased to say that this year is no exception. Through our awards each year, we recognize and say thank you to the best preservation work in Baltimore and you, the people behind it. In the past, we've done this at an in-person event at a great historic location. This year will be a little different. As our way of celebrating during COVID-19, we're going to feature each award winner in one of our 5-minute videos. You have been watching our videos, haven't you? About once a week over the next month, we'll present a person or project that received an award this year. We'll of course talk about the history as we do in all of our videos, but we'll also talk about the work that went into the project and the people behind it. This year, we have a tremendous group of award winners, from large projects such as the restoration of Pratt Library Central Branch, to saving row houses from certain collapse, to bringing important parts of the city's heritage back to life, as happened here at the H.L. Mencken House. If you stay with us and our 5-minute videos, you'll see that our awards also cover individuals who have made significant impacts on Baltimore over the last year, including our Lifetime Achievement Award recipient, which is going to architect activist David Gleason. You'll be able to meet Mr. Gleason and all the other award winners in the weeks ahead. Before I turn it back over to Johns, I want to congratulate each of this year's award winners. You are the backbone of the places we cherish in Baltimore. I also want to say thank you to all of our community partners on the front lines of improving our historic communities, our volunteers who research and lead tours and organize conferences, my fellow board members who lead this organization in so many ways, and of course, Baltimore Heritage's staff. Without them, none of our plans and ideas would see the light of day. I joined the board of Baltimore Heritage because it is an organization that helps protect, preserve, and promote the city's rich culture. I knew I was joining a community of neighbors and colleagues with a similar passion. And that includes all of you who are tuning in today. Thank you for joining us and for your continuing support. And now, back over to you, Johns.
Thanks so much, Krista. That was fantastic. And again, I am very, very pleased that you're out here joining me today. So let's talk about the H.L. Mencken House. And of course, we have to talk about Henry Louis Mencken. He was born in 1880, lived his whole life in Baltimore. Was not born in this house, but at age 3, his family moved here, and he spent the rest of his life here except for 5 years when he lived in Mount Vernon and he was married. But when his wife died, he promptly moved back. Of his childhood, he is quoted as saying, "It was placid, secure, uneventful, and happy." So I guess he had a good childhood here in the Hollins Market Union Square area. He, of course, was the great newspaper man of the day. For those of you Baltimoreans who want to know where people went to high school, He went to private school at first, but then graduated from Baltimore Polytechnic Institute, where incidentally my son is now a junior, and also incidentally Krista graduated also. So we have a little poly thing going on here. And if you want to know where he went to college, he took exactly one college class his whole life. He went to took a class on writing from a place called Metropolitan University that I don't think exists anymore. But his father died, and he came here, worked in the family cigar shop, and then got a part-time job with the Herald as a reporter. He pretty quickly went over to the Sun and the Evening Sun and the Sunday Sun, and for the next 50 or so years was a prolific writer for the Sun papers. So it would be ludicrous for us to try to cover all of what, or even a tiny bit of what Mencken did in his career. But maybe a few highlights. One is that he was a champion of science. In the Scopes trial, he lambasted the folks who didn't believe evolution as a scientific theory. He loved to go after politicians and political institutions with his sharp tongue and wit. But he was also very controversial in his public writing and in his private correspondence. He said really harsh words about people of the Jewish faith and African Americans, and even of democracy as a form of government. The debate rages on today among Mencken scholars over those things, and despite that, or maybe a little bit because of that, he cut a wide swath in American literary circles and in America in general in the first part of the 1900s. All right, so let's turn to this house. He called this house on the north side of Union Square, 1524 Hollins Street. He called it as much a part of me as my own two hands. And he really left his imprint here, kind of held court for most of his time here. But the restoration work was fantastic and had the goal of turning this house back to what it would have looked like in Mencken's heyday in the 1940s. All of the original hardwood floors and windows and doors and trim and plaster and chandeliers were all restored, except where the termites got to them first. The house had sat vacant for decades before this restoration work. Where new systems had to be put in, they were done so very thoughtfully. And in fact, even the wallpaper and the paint colors were chosen after meticulous research into what they should be per 1940s Mencken. Even the garden in the back, the trellis works and the cupola back there were all done after researching what they were in Mencken's time. So a really, really fantastic job. This is a $1.2 million restoration made possible by the bequest of a fan of Mencken's who lived in Hawaii most of his life. And I want to end by saying thank you to the organizations that made this work possible. And let me read those out. Bear with me for a second because it's important to say thank you. This didn't just happen. The Baltimore National Heritage Area, the Society to Preserve H.L. Mencken's Legacy, Azola Building Rehab, Manifold Design, the Baltimore City Department of General Services, the Baltimore Office of the Mayor, Washington Place Equities, the Baltimore Commission for Historical and Architectural Preservation, P&E Engineering, and JLR Consultants. And so please join me, even if you're at home in this time of COVID, but please join me if you know any folks from there in saying thank you to those groups and those individuals for the stellar restoration work they did here and help bring this building back from dormancy to life and in helping the Union Square neighborhood. Thanks so much, and we're going to see you next time.